thank you all for joining us, and good afternoon or good evening, as the case is here in Connecticut. My name is Mary Ann Clerk, and I work in the marketing department at Threshold Visitor Management Systems, and we are glad to have you with us this afternoon. We appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit about our visitor management system. So I just wanted to go over a little bit of housekeeping. There is a questions space tab for you to type in any questions that you might have. And we will try and stop during the event to allow people to ask any questions live, or so that we can make sure we're answering questions when we're in the appropriate area of the demonstration. So please type in your questions or use the raised hand tab, and we'll try and keep a close eye on that and get your responses for you as quickly as possible. So, and we will also do questions and answers at the very end, so that you'll be able to ask any other questions that come up. But please use that questions button and the raise hand button as we go through, and we'll do our best to keep on top of those. So thank you again for joining us, and welcome. So today's presenter will be Ron Coleman. Ron is the National Account Executive here at Threshold. He's also very active in a number of security industries associations, including the Connecticut chapter of the International Association of Healthcare Safety and Security. He is the co-vice chair of the Southern Connecticut ASIS International, as well as being active with InfraGard, SCAN, and TinyG. So thanks for joining us today, Ron.
Thank you for having me.
So just a little bit about Threshold. So if those of you who don't know us, Threshold is a developer and manufacturer of visitor management solutions. We have been in business since 1961. We make expiring visitor badges. We have a visitor software system, which you'll be seeing shortly, as well as having a manual sign-in systems. We are most well known for our expiring visitor badges that change color overnight, adding an extra layer of security. And you will see that badge in the demonstration as we go along here. And our products are mostly used by healthcare corporations, schools, and government. So those are our main customers who find this product works for them. So Scott has his hand up. Scott, I'll just check your question before we go too far. Scott, you have two people that are having trouble logging on. So yes, we can wait a second, sure. So there are a couple more people joining us. We'll give it another minute or so. And the presentation, the recording of this presentation will be available, as well as the PowerPoint. And as Ron will tell you, and I can tell you now as well, we will be doing, Ron will be available to do any more demonstrations that anybody in your team might need at another time. We're happy to try and do a different or other times if you need them. So please feel free to let us know if there's a group of people that need another demo at another time. So I think we're just waiting a few minutes more for the other people that are trying to join us. Scott, shall I assume that everybody's on? I see it says thanks for waiting. Do you think we're good to go here? Oh, good. So it looks like they're all on now, so we can get started. So for those of you that just joined us, thank you for joining us. Please use the questions tab or the raise hand, and I will try and get to those questions as we can pause throughout the presentation. So let's just get started here. You learned a little bit about who Threshold is, and our goal today will be to share with you our visitor management best practices that we've learned through other healthcare facilities that we work with, to allow you to take a guided tour of our software with Ron, and then to review the latest COVID features that have been added to the software to help manage the COVID crisis that we're all currently living through. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ron. Ron, if you would like to take it from here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. First of all, let me say thank you to you and to all of your associates who've been so important in the battle with COVID-19 and this opportunity to showcase the great features and benefits of our eVisitor system. As you know, security and asset protection are tied to controlling visitor traffic and vetting individuals prior to allowing them access to your facility. Here are some of the best practices that we've collected from speaking with security professionals just like you, as well as from participation in various security-related forums and organizations. They include minimizing the number of entrances to ensure that everyone is recorded, screening to ensure that those who are admitted are safe to be there, documenting and recording the visit in case of subsequent issues, and badging all visitors to provide visual evidence of compliance with the protocols. And depending on your facility, you may also want to limit the number of visitors allowed to a room or facility. Our badges make identifying valid and expired credentials easy with our patented expiring technology that changes color overnight to prevent reuse. You can see an example of that right here. Our customers tell us that our software solutions is easy to use and intuitive. It also allows you to track and record every visitor. Because it's a Windows cloud-based solution, it can run on almost any device from computer to laptop or even tablet. You can add as many terminals as you need for your facility, and it is available as a desktop administered or manned solution or as a self-service kiosk. Here are 4 new features to keep pace with our changing reality in the COVID-19 era.
And these are features Ron will be covering in his demo.
Yes. So let's start with screening. Our screen badges work with your screening process to identify and certify that visitors have passed your screening process. They are available as a drop-down category field on your software or as a pre-printed badge for manual input. If you decide to purchase eVisitor, just let us know if you would like to add this feature to your drop-down list. Our manual badges can also be used to screen employees and give them a visual badge to show that they are cleared to be there that day. In these times, maintaining a sterile environment is very important. We've designed our system for touchless registration. Our Turbo DL reader can scan a license through a plexiglass shield and pull the visitor's name. All other visitor information is collected by the receptionist positioned safely away from the visitor. By positioning your printer outside the screen, the visitor can remove the badge, activate it, and wear it all without direct physical contact with the receptionist. Contact us for more tips on how to set up your COVID-sensitive reception area. Another new feature is our contact tracing fields. These fields make it easy to record visitor phone number and email so that in the event of an incident, you can easily reach all people who may have been compromised. Our room tracking feature allows you to control how many people are allowed in a room in accordance with your specific protocols. And then finally, our visitor by destination feature shows you visitor volume by room as well as total visitors in your facility. This report is very popular with security directors and managers responsible for properly staffing lobbies for their peak periods. Now let me show you the system and how we can incorporate all of these features in a live demo. And now you can see my screen, hopefully. We designed eVisitor to be easy to use, intuitive, feature-rich, and affordable. The left side of the screen is the registration side, and then we've designed it to look like a visitor badge to make it easy to follow, even if you're not computer savvy. The right side is your visitor history and has lists of visitors from pre-registered to signed in and to people signed out. So this just gives you all of the different logs that are available. Now let's register a visitor. To register a visitor, there are two ways to register a visitor. One is to do it with a driver's license, and the other is to do it manually. I'm going to show you how we do it with a driver's license to begin. To do that, we simply click on the Read ID. Then we hold the driver's license, as I mentioned earlier, up to the screen. And automatically it pulls the information right from the driver's license. Now the picture is there because it's a picture that's on file. In other words, because I'm a returning visitor, it had a picture of me already. The system does not automatically pull up a picture. I could add a picture and all that later on, and I'll show you that feature. But for now, let's just show you how this all works to this extent. I can also put in where I'm going, and then just simply sign in and print. And just that easily, now I'm entered into the system. Now the second way to enter a person manually is to type the person's name in. So I'm putting in Walt Dudley. I can select what type of visitor he is, and this is customizable by you. You tell us what fields you want here. Like we mentioned before about screened, you can use that field. You can, as many as you want, you can have here. They're tailored to be your specific options. I'm going to leave them as contractor. You notice that we also have your logo here. Now the logo will appear on the badge in black and white unless you've opted for a color printer, but it will. We will again be able to give you the ability to add your logo to the picture, to the badge. Finally, we have a drop down over here. Now this is the common destinations that people have, and you can put whatever you want in there for those as well, and have a drop down. For this case, I'm going to show you one additional feature, which is our room tracking. If I put in that I'm going to room 301, whoops, not in this field, 301, and then tab off of it, you'll see that the system automatically tells me there's one visitor that's already in that room. Now, depending on your protocol, it may be okay to have one person or two people or three people, whatever your protocol is. It's going to tell you how many people are in there already so that you can use your particular protocol to determine whether you allow that visitor in or whether you tell them they have to sit back and wait for a little bit until the other person leaves. You can also, as we mentioned, we have our ability to add a phone number, a email. You could put notes in here about the visit, and you can also assign how long the person. Now we have expiring badges, and I'll explain this and then I'll stop and ask questions. You can set a time for a badge to expire on the card. In other words, what this is going to do is right here on the badge, it'll print when the badge expires. This is not where it's going to do a color change. It's just saying this badge is good for 4 hours, for example. So when I print this badge, it's going to have, and I'll show you in just one second. And I'm going to turn on my camera just so I can show you this feature. It's going to show you right on the bottom there the expiration time for this visitor, so that in addition to having our badges that change color overnight to prevent reuse, You can also have a date printed on there, excuse me, a time printed on there that will further expire the badge. Okay. Let me see. I should talk to, oh, and one other thing I should have mentioned. I'm going to enter one more person here. When you enter a person manually, the system won't remember that person unless you click this Remember Visitor button, because when you use a driver's license, it pulls an irreversibly encrypted driver's license number and the person's name from the badge, so that from the driver's license. Doing that, they will always remember that visitor. The system will remember that visitor. When you're just typing in a name, Ron Smith, the system won't remember it unless you click on this Remember Visitor button, as you see here. And I'm going to show you another feature, how we grab a picture. You see I've got a room picture here now, and just adjust my camera slightly. And we can take a picture of the person. You don't have to zoom in or anything else. You just take the picture like so. And then by clicking in the center of the face, this is our auto crop feature. It automatically pulls in and zooms that picture of the person in. So just that simply, I've got a live picture of the person. As you, I have my COVID beard now rather than the pre-COVID that was there before. I can say where I'm going. You see again, because there's one person in the conference room, it already shows that. I can put in all those features I showed you about the phone number and email, and then I can sign in and print. A final point on all of this before I go any further is because the visitor privacy is important to us, we pull the least amount of information as possible from the driver's license, just enough so that we have a record of who's been in that facility. If we were asked to, okay, what's the guy's address or anything else, we wouldn't have that information. Hence the reason we say that we want to use this phone number and email to collect that information for contact tracing. It's not stored just because they use their driver's license. And that's designed to really, like I said, protect privacy of our visitors and limit the liability for our customers as well. And with that, I'm going to take a moment and ask if there's any questions so far.
So you can use the question tab to type in any questions, or raise your hand and we can unmute you for live questions, whatever's easier. Ron, could you just speak to the difference between the scanners that read driver's licenses, perhaps?
Of course. The scanner that I'm using is well, I'm going to grab a screen here and show you real quick. If I go into my software and equipment, I can show you very quickly what that looks like. Marianne, can you see the screen here? I just want to make sure that it's showing what I want it to show. You can?
Yes, we can.
Okay, very good. So the driver's license reader that I'm using is this Turbo driver's license reader. It looks like a gun that you use at the shopping mart, and it reads the 2D barcode on the bottom of on the back of a driver's license. This one does not take a picture. It just reads that 2D barcode and grabs off of that an irreversibly encrypted driver's license number, as well as the person's name. If we go down here to this double-sided driver's license reader, it takes a little bit longer to print, but it does take a picture. It does pull the picture. It reads both sides of the driver's license and pulls the picture of the visitor right off the driver's license. The advantage to that is you don't have to take a live picture. The disadvantage is sometimes the picture quality is not as good because, you know, driver's licenses are issued for multiple years now. You could, the person's image, they might look completely different than they used to, any number of things. But these are the two primary scanners that we use to do driver's licenses. And one is, like I said, one just does the barcode, the other does the picture and the barcode.
Great, thanks, Ron. So I don't see any other questions here, so I think you could continue on.
Okay, fantastic. So we were talking a little bit about returning visitors, I think. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can classify a visitor that might be returning. Let's see. If I put in, now in the system, I'm in here as Ron Coleman, but there's also a Ronald Coleman. But Ron Coleman is this guy. So if I wanted to register Ron Coleman, he's not here now, but what I want to do is I want to say Ron Coleman has had some issues here before, so I want to make sure I properly let my security know how to deal with them. So I'm going to double click on the face here, and you'll see that I have a bunch of different options. I can have a red flag or alert flag, which typically means do not allow in or escort required. It's all up to you. You determine what the flags mean, but that's typically what most people use it for. Either of those, either it's do not allow in or escort required. We can also give them a yellow flag, which in most cases means this person needs special assistance. We put notes in. You would put notes down here to sort of say what the reason for giving the yellow flag is, or you could make them a VIP. And if you gave them a VIP, obviously we all know what VIP means. This is somebody special, but you would further delineate why you've given them the VIP pass. Now, the purpose of all of this is so that if that person returns, the security officer knows how to deal with that person. This is kept, the only person that sees this is the security officer. So it's not like the visitor knows that they've been designated with a yellow flag or a red flag or anything. It's just our way of giving you another way of segmenting your population so that if you know you have, I'll call it a bad actor, or somebody who maybe there's a spousal issue or something, you can put the correct protocols in place to deal with that person. So having created that, if I'm not signing him in right now, I can just hit the start over button, and that clears the screen. But I can put that person into my history so that the next time he comes in, he'll be seen with the appropriate flag. Now, I believe, and talking with Scott, that you have a couple of hospitals that you're thinking about using eVisitor with. And my reason I bring that up now is because let's say you had multiple facilities that you want to protect and have the flag. If somebody's flagged in one building, you want them flagged in all your buildings. So if you wanted to do that, you could have an eVisitor system in building 1 and building 2, and they can communicate with each other by what we call our multi-facility feature. And that basically allows you to see or share just the flagged visitors across your platform. Or, like we call it the BOLO list. If you have a BOLO list of people or a flagged list of people that you want to treat a certain way, you don't want to have to worry about the person being treated one way in one facility and another way in another facility. This is how we can make that happen. If you would like more information about multi-facility, please contact me, and I can set up a follow-up to show you that feature in real time. Okay.
So Ron, they're saying it's one facility right now, but 2 entrance locations.
Well, the 2 entrance locations isn't a challenge, because if it's the same location, they can both be tied with the same facility, the same username. So I'm gonna just jump back a little bit and tell you a little something I hadn't mentioned before. To log on to the system, you use a username and password. The username and password is tied to an account, in other words, to a facility. So if St. Joseph's has multiple entrances, they could all use the same username and password. What we would do is use this designation here, and we would say, for example, screened door 1 or screened door 2, and that would distinguish the multiple entrances, as opposed to it being, you could do it as multi-facility, but I'm just thinking it's easier just to say, okay, he came through door 1, he came through door 2, and you would have them all that way. And then, like I said, because it's all one account, if you will, any BOLO list or any flagged individuals would be still recorded in your history. Does that answer the question, Marianne, do you think? Or?
I think so. And then I just want to go back to a question that Angela had asked about the DL scanner, why we might use the DL scanner if it only captures the name and not the picture or address.
Well, the address is information that we don't capture for privacy reasons. And most people, when we first started, before we developed, I was part of the development team when we first developed our eVisitor products. And one of the things that we heard before we even developed ours from a lot of facilities was people were reluctant or gun shy about giving their driver's license or having that information recorded because they felt like it was too much of an invasion of privacy. So we wanted to capture the minimal amount of information necessary to accurately reflect who's in our facility, in other words, Ron Coleman, and their irreversibly encrypted driver's license number, which ties that individual, that visitor, to that driver's license to that visitor. So in other words, Ron Coleman using that driver's license cannot come in as Donald Duck. He's always going to be Ron Coleman as long as he uses his driver's license. So that's the reason for that. The option with the driver's license reader is to take a picture, and I'm going to show you that just so you can get real time how quickly we can do this. And as a two-step, I understand the one-step you think is a easier solution, but I'm going to show you just how that can work here. So here we go. We've got a driver's license. I read the back of the card. It pulls up my information. I take a picture. I zoom in. I say done. I update my picture. I say where I'm going, and I hit print. It's maybe 6 seconds. It's not a long process, so it's very easy to do. And quite honestly, one of the things that I'm using my security friends and knowledge and accumulated information to say that what I've heard from a lot of people in the security industry is a picture of what the person looks like today, a picture of what the person looks like, what he's wearing, and what he's. If you have to search for a person for some reason, let's say that you have an incident and you've got to find that person, you want a picture of what they look like when they came through the door today. So that's another reason why I like having an active picture versus a picture off of a driver's license. In a lot of cases, people change completely from what they might have had as a driver's license from 3 or 4 years ago. So I hope that answers that question.
I think so. Then the other question was just if the scanner that does capture the pictures, is the picture saved on file? And I think you've demonstrated that the pictures are saved on file. So
absolutely.
A returning visitor will show up, their old picture will show up, and then you can easily take a new one and replace it.
Absolutely. Okay.
I think we're good there.
Good, good. I talked about room limits already, I think. Oh, let me go into that. I think maybe I didn't go into that as much as I'd like to. So as you can see here, I'm going to just do one more visitor just to. So Dave Smith is coming in and he's going to go into room 125. And when I tab off of that, you'll see that it says this one visitor. So this is telling me right here, this is telling the receptionist or the guard that there's a visitor there already. What is their protocol? If your protocol is one visitor is all that's allowed to the room, then you tell Dave he's got to sit and wait. Or you could verify that the person who you suspect is in that room is still there. Maybe call to the nurse's station or whatever and say, is that person that's in that room in room 125, is he still there? Did he leave and just forgot to check out or whatever? And if that's the case, then you can let David in. So I'm going to just say that David can go in, and I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to show you this visitor by destination report, and this tells you this is a neat report because it tells you at a glance who's in your building. It tells you in room 125 we've got 2 people, Dave Smith and Jeff Schmidt. In room 301, I've got 2 people, Walter Dudley and James Turner. And then in conference room, in security, I've got 3 people, you know, Ron Coleman, McGruff, and Greg Brunel. Now, I can also see here the total people in my facility are 8. So it gives you a lot of information at a quick glance. How many people are, where are they? And how many people in total are there? So that's just how we can show all of that. I want to go here and show you one other feature. Let's say that, like we said, Greg Brunel is about to leave. He comes back and says, I'm leaving, thank you, and so on. And you just click here on his name and sign him out. And just that easily, he's now on my signed out list. Greg Brunel signed out. I can also take the badge that was used to sign in and use that to sign the person out. I can go here and say, where's my scan out? So now I can go here and just click the person here, and that person is signed out that way. So I can sign out a couple of different ways. The barcode on the bottom of the badge, in other words, it's right here, can be used with a driver's license reader to sign a person out. So you have 2 ways of signing a person out, either by just clicking on their name. You can do that also if you want to just click all of them and sign them out if you wanted to. But then you would have a list of everybody that's signed out. So that's another feature.
So Ron, we have a question here about the storage of information.
Sure. Well, the information is stored for a minimum of a year.
And is it on the cloud, right? Not on the local drive.
Yes, exactly. I was about to go there. What we do is we store all of your information. The only thing that's on the computer is a little app that allows you to connect with our server and our software. Everything else is stored on the cloud. So the information we say that the best practice is for you to store your info, to download your information. In other words, you can pull your information off with Excel or Access and store it that way. We haven't deleted any information from our system, but we tell people best practice is to sign or to download and save your history annually. So that way there you've got your information for any time going forward. It just gives you a belt and suspenders. It gives you another level of protection, if you will. But our information, we guarantee that it's stored for at least a year. We've been in business doing these systems for multiple years, and we have never started to delete. I think that the reason why we have that as a feature is basically so that we have a way of controlling our if our database starts to get too full, we can delete old data. But in most cases, people are more interested in who's been in their facility in the last 6-8 months than they are in information that's years old. So if you need that information, we would suggest that you store that, download it and store it. And I can show you. You can see right here it says export selected. You can select and export anything you want. I'll show you a little bit more of that when I get into reports. But for now, was that the only question, Marianne?
Oh, the other question that just came through is can the system, is this a system that a CCTV camera can integrate with?
Our system does not integrate. That was one of the one of the things that we get asked fairly often is whether our systems integrate with other systems. And the reason we don't is because there's a lot of times when systems get contaminated, or whatever the word you want to use is. Because our system is standalone, we know that it's always going to be accurate. We've had government facilities that had problems with somebody breaking into their system, not our system, but breaking into the system and getting access to other things, but they could not get into eVisitor because it is a standalone system and it just doesn't, because it doesn't integrate. So that's one reason. And the other reason is because if we started to try to integrate with various systems, we would have to pick and choose which one do we integrate with, and there's so many different platforms out there. It would be very hard and be counterproductive to do that.
Okay, I don't see any more questions, so if you want to continue on, I hope that answered the questions, but feel free to keep writing questions.
Yes, please do. Another thing I wanted to show you is how we can pre-register a visitor. Now, again, when you pre-register a visitor, the advantage there is if the person is coming in, let's say he's a contractor, and he's coming in that day to do some work on your facility. I'm just going to put a person's name in here. So Michael Phillips is coming in, and he's going to be here to go to security, and he's going to work on systems. I go to my pre-register tab, and I say I'm expecting him to be here at 7 o'clock tonight, and he's going to be here for 4 hours. And then I can click pre-register. And what that does is it puts him in. Now, Michael hasn't shown up at the desk yet. When he shows up, he comes to the front desk, says, I'm Michael Phillips. I'm here to go to security. And we double click on his face, on his badge rather, and we can add more information. We could add the picture of Michael if we wanted to. Just for giggles and ha's, we'll make him McGruff. And then I can sign him in. I've got his picture, I've got that, and just that easily I've signed him in. So now he's no longer in the pre-register tab. Now he's in my signed in tab. Now, a lot of these features that I've been showing you are designed to make life easy for the receptionist or the guard that's at the front desk. Using the system this way, when we first developed this, we developed it for a lot of schools that have retired parents or grandparents that are using the system. So we wanted it to make it simple, bonehead simple, easy to use. So that's the reason why all of this information is very, very simple, to use and to understand and so on. The other side of it, however, is the added value that you need for security managers or directors and how they can pull information like visitor history. And I've been in the system too long, and it's letting me know I got to sign back in. So let me just do that. So if I wanted to do some reports and look at history, I can go to my reports tab here. And this is all the stuff that, there we go. I can run a report of all the visitors. I can do a report by any of my subcategories here, or I can do all. And I can say my time period of today, yesterday, this week, last week, etc. I'm going to leave it as today. And then I hit go. And just that easily, I have a list of everybody that came in. So if I have to do an investigation, or if I have to, I want to keep an eye on who's coming in and out of my facility remotely. You don't have to be at the front desk now, because this is a cloud-based solution. You can be in your office. We provide you the additional what would you call it? Additional access to the system, so that you're not signing people in and out, but you can run reports. You can oversee what's going on at the front desk, all from the comfort of your desk, from home, from wherever you're using your computer, as long as it's a computer that's been set up to use eVisitor. So just that simply, you can pull a report. You can also do a report by a single visitor. Let's say we want to know how many times Ron Coleman has been in the facility. And you see, as soon as I start to type the name, it automatically pulls up, it autofills with who that might be. So let's say I want to know all the times that Ron Coleman has been in my facility for investigations or whatever the case may be. This gives you that information just that easily. It shows you a picture of him, shows you the times in, times out, where he went, etc. So it's a very easy report to to use that's going to give you all the information you want. A couple other things that we can do. I showed you individual visitor, I showed you groups. You can also do an evacuation report. Let's say you have an emergency and you have to evacuate the building. This report here that I just clicked on, the evacuation button, gives you everybody that's in your building right now, everybody who is scheduled to be coming into your building, and everybody that just left. So for first responders and things of that sort, you have a complete list of people that you can give them above and beyond your visitor, above and beyond your employees and your patients. You have a list of all the visitors that were in your facility, so that you can account for them as well. Very important report from that perspective. Last report I want to show you is the flagged report, because this report here tells you who in your building has been flagged. If I hit go on there, you'll see that here's all my flagged visitors. So all the people who I've set up and why, if there's, we've got some things called odd duck, but just whatever your notes are to tell why you gave that person a certain flag is right here, and you can monitor and control that right here. You have a list of everybody that's all your flagged individuals.
And Ron, can you just speak to who sees those notes on the flag, somebody that's returning and has a flag in the system?
The only one that can see it, when a flagged individual comes to the front desk, the guard will see it, because the guard will see Ralph Emerson, for example, and will see that he has a flag. This report is, you can see as a security director, and you have I'll call it an administrative account. You can run all these reports and see who the flags are and what's going on, etc. Escort required, whatever the case may be.
But the flags don't print on the badges.
No.
They're visible to the person signing in.
Those are completely private. In other words, you're giving information to your security personnel. You're not giving it to the visitor. The visitor, let's say the visitor is not allowed in. You would set your protocol to say, okay, well, just a minute, I'm having a problem printing a badge, and maybe you call for backup or whatever to help you to resolve the issue of that person not being allowed in. So somebody comes down, maybe it's the security director, and says, hey, I'm sorry, you can't come in. We've had problems with you in the past, whatever the case may be, and they can take it from there. Or if escort required, same thing. You would have somebody come down and escort them wherever they're going. If it's a VIP, again, you would have notes in the file that would tell you what you do. Maybe it's you alert the manager or the whoever that the boss is in the facility today. But whatever the case may be, we give you the tools to do that right from the front desk. But you can also see all of this as a back office function. Okay, does that answer the question?
I just want to clarify. The question is, please clarify that the person who sees this data or the info is the person checking in the visitor, and that's correct. It's only the person checking in the visitor, or the person who might have access to the account as a security director or manager of the system, that they would be able to see it. So even if it's a volunteer working at your front desk and that somebody shows up with a flag, they would at least know that this person has a flag, and you would have a protocol in place for them to deal with flagged visitors.
Exactly, and that's the key. What you want to do is you want to have your what does red mean, what does yellow mean, what does green mean. You want to have that nailed down, and you want to have what we've given you is a tool that allows you to segregate your population to some extent. You decide what you want to do with that, and it can be that you have somebody come down. It could be that you just alert them, hey, well, you're only allowed to go to this floor. One thing that you might even do, and I want to show you that in just 1 second. Sorry, I'm multitasking here. Bear with me at 1 second. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Come on, go. My computer's starting to act funny on me. It must be because it's after hours or something. Ah, there we go. Okay. So another thing that you can do, and this is in line with we have a bunch of accessories. Let's say that you have a person who is a bad actor and you want to let him in or whatever. You can add our badge tags that say escort required to that badge. We have various colors and so on. You can have the reusable ones or the one-time use ones, but the bottom line is you can further segregate or separate different. Let's say that somebody's going to neonatal and you wanted to give them a badge appropriate to say that that's where they belong. And if somebody sees them up on the heart floor, well, why are you here? You're supposed to be down in neonatal. So it gives you the ability to segregate or to assign people to an area this way. So you can use it to say escort required and say that the flagged person is being treated by doing that. You can also further segregate people by saying, okay, I'm going to use a certain color for this area of the hospital and another color for that area. And these are all very affordable products that we can offer to augment your visitor management. Okay. Any questions about any of that?
Nothing here yet, but you can continue on and we'll continue to quick questions as they come along.
Well, actually, believe it or not, that is everything I wanted to show you. Marianne, I'll let you take back control. I wanted to show one other. I think you have one more slide that I wanted to show, so I'll let you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we showed you that report.
Yep, there's this report. Stay on that for a minute, Marianne. So this report, as we were talking before, this is I don't have the history in my temporary my demo file to show you this, but this shows you what a security director might want to see. This shows you trend analysis. It shows you peaks and valleys across the day, how many people are in a facility. So if you had to work staffing out, you would say, oh, okay, for 1 to 6, there's hardly anybody here, but then it goes way up. So if you had to do analysis of your or substantiate why you're having certain number of staff in your facility, etc., this gives you that ability. So this is another great product or great feature that we have in our system. So I wanted to show that. You can go to the next slide now, Marianne. And this is our typical system. This is one of our most popular. As I showed you, this is the security driver's license reader, the camera. You notice the camera's on a little stand. The reason for that is because we want it to be at head height. We don't want the picture to be taken at the desk height because it's shooting up somebody's nose. It doesn't give a picture that is accurate of what the person looks like. In some cases, it might not be a good representation. So we want to get it at head height so that it's taking a picture straight on. We also include a printer, and in this case, we highly recommend our Zebra printer. You can use a Dymo printer, which is a couple $100 less. We found that over time, the Dymo is not as functional, in high volume as the Zebra. The Zebra costs a little bit more, but you get what you pay for. The Zebra printer is a workhorse, and you can work it all day, and it stays together. We also have a warranty for this printer. For about $100, you can have an overnight replacement if it ever does have a problem, and that's another feature you can have. Now, I should mention, you can see here all the equipment that's included. The only thing we don't include is your PC. So it includes the scanner, camera, printer, and 1,000 of our expiring badges, all for the $26.50 that you see here. At the end of the year, well, before the end of the year, let's look at what that includes. It includes the training, updates, system setup and support, everything that you could possibly need. If you need to you wanted to give me a drop-down list, a change in drop-down list, you want your logo put in, there's no charge for any of that. If you had some changes that happened, let's say you got a new employee that comes on and you wanted to train him, there's no charge for any of that. The only thing that you're charged for is the system and additional badges that you print. Another unique thing about our system, about our company, is that we can deliver and install in less than 2 weeks. That's I think leading the pack, basically. If you give us a PO or an order for a product today, we can have you up and running by this time next week or shortly thereafter. The reason why is because we take the order, we stock, everything is stored here at our facility. Nothing has to be shipped from a third party or whatever. So we ship everything out, and then we do online installation and training right on the spot. So once you call us and say, I've got my equipment, I'd like to get set up, we can usually set you up within 24 to 48 hours. And all of that is for $26.50. Now, last question, what happens after a year? After a year, you've had the system for a year. This is a license, don't forget. So after a year, your only charge is for the renewal of the license, which is $500. There are no other charges. Everything that you had, again, the training, updates, system support, because the product is a cloud-based system, you get the benefit of all the upgrades and things of that sort as they come in. The same as you would on an iPhone. You're going to get high quality updates and things of that sort as soon as they're available, so that you're not paying additional because now my software is out of date or something of that sort. None of that stuff happens. We keep you up to date with all of our developments, and we typically have periodic improvements to the system, and we pass those right along to you.
And a good example of that is all the COVID features that we added.
Yes, exactly. That's a perfect point.
And that was all added at no cost.
Yes. The room track, all those other things that we just talked about, those are all added features that we've added in the past, say, 4 to 6 months. And they're all, you know, products or features that we understood that our customers needed and wanted, and so we developed them and added them in. There's been no change in price because of that, though.
So Ron, there's a question here of what is each cost for each extra location on-site logon?
The cost per location, let's call it a visitor a badging station. In other words, this system here is a badging station, okay? You can have the software on your other computer as an administrative function. There's no charge for that. But each system where we have a, you know, printer and so on is a badging system. And so the price is $26.50 per badging system. If you do have multiple locations and things of that sort, maybe we can work something out. I'm willing to discuss that offline as to what we can do for you, but that is our list price for the systems.
All right, there, Ron, there's another question about how to ask each visitor screening questions.
Well, typically what we don't collect the screening questions at this point. What we suggest is that whatever your protocol is for getting the screening is done in advance of coming to get a badge. In other words, you don't get a badge until you've passed the screening questions. So what we recommend to our visitors, to our customers, is that they have a protocol in place where they go through the temperature screening and all that stuff, answer the questions, and then come to register and get a badge. There's no reason for them to come to this station until they've been cleared to be on your facility.
And our kiosk system, actually, if it was self-serve, not a manned station, the kiosk system does allow you to ask questions.
It does allow you to ask questions, and it can ask the question. You can have more of the features that you're talking about from a perspective of screening, but it still doesn't take a temperature and things of that sort. So it would basically still be sort of you would still have to have some interaction to get that screening process taken care of. The other thing talking with hospital security professionals from all over the country. We've been doing this for a long time. I've been talking with some of the leaders in healthcare security, and the thing that I've heard over and over again is touchless. Now, if you're using a kiosk system, it's a great system, but it's not touchless. You still got to touch that screen. So I think it's a little bit more of a compromise to your security, you'd have to have some sort of a way to clean or to disinfect between visitors, if you will. So the system that I'm suggesting and I'm putting here in front of you, I think is the I'll call it the COVID compliant, or the COVID solution that most hospitals across the country are using. I didn't hear you, Marianne. Did you say something?
Sorry, I don't see any more questions right now. So, but we, I think, as Ron said, he's concluded what he wanted to share with you today. But if we have a few more minutes, so feel free to type in any more questions you might have. You'll see Ron's contact information here. You can reach him via email at rcoleman@Threshold Security. Our phone number is 800-243-1969, and Ron's extension is 328. And you can see more about our specific products on our website at thresholdsecurity.com. Ron is also available to do this demo again if anybody else in your organization would need it. Here, Ron, is a question that just came in. How well did the stickers stick?
Oh,
and what's the cost of 1,000 badges?
That's a very good question. One of the unique things about our product, because again, you have the benefit of having somebody that spent a lot of time with the R&D aspect of this product. And one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that the badges were going to, well, let me start by saying the majority of visitor badges that are out today are designed to go on boxes. It's box adhesive that they're using. Our expiring badges were engineered to be fabric friendly so that they stick very well to clothing and come off clean. Now, obviously, if you have a very sensitive fabric or something of that sort, you don't want to put a sticky badge on it. Maybe use one of our badge holders. But our product is the closest thing I could call to, the closest comparison I would put it to is a sock adhesive, where it sticks very well to the clothing, and it's designed and engineered to be on clothing. Even the thickness of the badge is designed so that it flexes with the clothing as opposed to being stuck on a box. So yes, our product is completely compliant or engineered to be worn and not fall off. Marianne, I don't think I'm
sorry, the cost per 1,000 badges?
The cost per 1,000 badges is dependent on the type of badge that you choose. Let me just look at real quick. I can pull up some information here. Bear with me. I think it's per 1,000 is somewhere around $200 per 1,000 badges. And if I could get my system to open up.
And then we have different types of expiring badges. We have the tab expiring that you saw earlier. We have a full expiring where the red stripes go all the way across the badge, and then we have dot expiring badges where it's a smaller round area that expires. So there's different varieties of expiring badges, and our expiring badges work with any system, almost any system that's out there, so they can be used
regardless of whether you use our system or if you choose to use an alternative system. You can still use our badges. I misspoke when I said that the badges were about $200. They're about $184 per 1,000 for the tab expiring badge, which I was showing you. One other thing that I should mention, with most of the hospitals that I've been dealing with, we talk about what the volume is for, say, 3 to 6 months, and then buy at that volume. And the reason you do that is because you get a volume discount, and so you can control, your inventory. I mean, the badges they don't go bad as long as you keep them in a cool location, a cool, dry location. So you can actually have an inventory of badges on premise and not have to worry about, and it'll cost you less than the list price per 1,000 because you bought in the volume that you need. So hope that answers that question.
Next question here, Ron, is can the system automatically send an alert to security if a red flagged person shows up?
That is handled by the security receptionist that's there. They can have, you would give them the protocol of announce or of alerting security. It doesn't send an alert if a red flag person is there, because it doesn't, that would require some sort of integration. But because if you have somebody that's at the front desk, as I mentioned before, they would just say, okay, the person who's coming in doesn't know he has a red flag. What they would say is, oh, I'm having a problem with my system. Let me make a call, see if I can get somebody down here to fix this. And then you would just alert your support team that you have a code whatever. You know, you don't say a red flag person, you say a code such and such, and then they would know that that's a person with a red flag. Now, if you have a security manager who's sitting at another location and he can look at the, says, oh, he says he's got a red flag person there because I know what that code meant. And he looks and he says, oh, this is so-and-so that's here that we don't want to allow in. They would deploy, because you can look over the shoulder essentially of the security person at the desk by looking from the safety of your office, see that who the person is that they're talking about, and appropriately deal with that issue.
I think that's it for the questions that I'm seeing up on here now. And we've been here for about an hour. So if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to go ahead and ask them now. Or as I said, you can reach Ron at this email or phone number that you see on the screen.
Yes, please yell and let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. I would appreciate it, Scott, if you give me a call after the, tomorrow or something. Just let me know if there's any other things, like any questions that came up afterwards, or maybe we'll get in touch and just chat, and I can understand if there's anything more I can do for you in regard to that. Maybe set up another demo if we need to, or if you need some additional collateral information, etc. I'd be happy to do any of those things for you.
So great. Ron, Scott says he's going to follow up with you on Thursday or Friday.
Yes.
So I think we're all set here. Thank you all for your time. We truly appreciate your joining us this afternoon, and we hope that we've answered all your questions, but we are available to follow up as needed this week. So thanks again, Ron. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
For all of you who I don't have a chance to talk to, have a happy holiday, and I look forward to a time when we're finished with this COVID stuff, and hopefully we'll get back to normal existence of some sort. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.